The air tasted of ash and damp earth. Deep in the Al Mountains of Lower Silesia, the winter of 1945 did not just bring snow. It brought a shroud. The Wenceslas mine near WWII was a monument to desperation. Here, in the final, frantic weeks of the Third Reich, the Great War Machine wasn't building, it was burning. SS units, their faces hollowed by defeat, hauled wagon loads of meticulous files into the swirling mist, feeding the furnaces until the paper records of entire classified projects turned to nothing but smoke and rumor. This was the exact moment history ceased to be accurately recorded and became raw, explosive legend. It was here, in the cold shadow of oblivion, that a single name was whispered among the laborers and the surviving guards. Die Glocke, the bell. This name has since traveled through the decades, mutating from a hushed rumor into a global spectacle. For the curious online, the bell is a concrete, colossal device, glowing with lethal violet radiation, depicted in glossy animations, and sensational book covers that promise tales of time travel and anti-gravity. Yet, this is the paradox that confronts us immediately. A weapon of world-shattering potential, a device supposedly built with untold resources, remains utterly absent from any confirmed, verified wartime file. We see endless schematics for the V2 rocket. We have meticulous records of their jet fighters. But the blueprint for the bell is nowhere to be found among the mountains of genuine Wunderwaffen paperwork captured by the Allies. To bridge this impossible gap between sensational fiction and stark historical fact, we must look to the man who stood exactly at that fault line. Hans SS Obergruppen für Kammler was not some low-ranking technician. He was a dark star in the Nazi hierarchy, the ultimate engineer of destruction. This was the man who oversaw the brutal slave labor for the mass production of the V2 at Mittelwerkdora. And by 1945, he was in command of every last, desperate special project the collapsing regime could dream up. Kammler knew where the bodies were buried, both literally and technologically. But in May 1945, with Berlin fallen and the war officially over, Kammler beneath his disappearance is an empty space in the historical record that has allowed the legend of the bell to flourish. Did he meet a violent, unrecorded end in Czechoslovakia, executed by his own side to protect a secret? Did he, as some sources claim, used his technological leverage to barter his way into the American sphere of influence, taking the bell's secret soar, perhaps the bell itself with him? Or did something truly stranger occur in the tunnels beneath these misty mountains? Something that defies the very laws of physics as we understand them. This brings us to the central, haunting question that defines the mystery of the bell in the ruins. If the Third Reich truly possessed a device so advanced it approached anti-gravity or time manipulation, why does it appear nowhere in the vast, meticulous archives documenting the true cost and scope of Germany's genuine, terrifying wartime technological achievements? The bell is a void in history, and voids always invite speculation. The heart of the Reich's ultimate ambition beat not in Berlin, but deep beneath the Al Mountains of Poland, to grasp the terror and the technological leap of Die Glocke. The bell we must venture into the shadowy reality of Nazi Germany's engineering machine. This project, code-named, was the perfect paradox. A structure of cutting-edge physics built entirely on the foundation of human desperation. It was here, in the cold subterranean complex known as WWII, that SS General Hans Kammler oversaw a team of the Reich's most brilliant physicists and engineers. Their labor augmented and enforced by the desperate hands of concentration camp prisoners. This fusion of unparalleled intellect and sheer human brutality created a workspace unlike any other in history. The design itself sounded like science fiction ripped from the future. Sources gathered from meticulous Allied interrogations following the war described a device of colossal scale. 2 large, counter-rotating, ceramic cylinders. These were filled with a mysterious, violet-hued metallic sludge known only by its code name, Cherum 525. The entire chamber housing the bell was lead-lined, a grim testament to the known, yet terrifying, consequences of the experiments within. As the machine spun up, it reportedly consumed vast amounts of power, and the air around a divan outside the immediate containment area became thick with menace. Post-war testimonies from those who survived exposure spoke of radiation levels instantly lethal to anything alive, leading to neurological breakdowns, violent hallucinations, and unexplained, agonizing deaths. The logistical challenge was a nightmare worthy of the ambition. Procurement teams scoured Europe for the necessary elements, scarce tungsten for heavy-duty components, high-purity mercury, and other rare earth metals critical to the unknown physics they were trying to unlock. Every component was engineered for precise, unimaginable forces. The pressure on the workforce was relentless. Coerced laborers and ideological scientists alike worked in shifts around the clock, united in their proximity to both genius and madness. The diaries and confessions recovered later reveal a pervasive atmosphere of what the machine might do and pure terror at what it did do. For the scientists, it was a chance to rewrite the fabric of spacetime. For the enslaved, it was a daily calculation of survival against toxic emissions and the SS guard detail. Kammler's team wasn't merely building a weapon. They were aiming to engineer a temporal or gravitational anomaly. Instruments capable of measuring tiny deviations in the spacetime continuum were designed and built under wartime constraints. The evidence suggests they achieved something terrifyingly close to their goal. Several leading scientific figures vanished during the project's frantic final stages, and witnesses reported the area being suddenly cleared of all personnel after particular experiments, leaving only traces of a strange biological residue. The machine was, at once, the apotheosis of German technical brilliance and the ultimate monument to human self-delusion. It was a flawless piece of engineering designed to shatter the fundamental laws of nature, its perfection stained forever by the forced labor that enabled it. The ultimate question remains: was this a successful, catastrophic leap into the unknown, or merely the ghost of a paper project, meticulously designed to distract Allied intelligence in the final days of the war? Did Die Glocke truly pierce the veil of physics, or was it simply the darkest, most expensive dream the Reich ever conjured? The answers are still buried, scattered in conflicting accounts and lost patents, echoing from the underground bunkers. If the search for hidden histories and the emotional truths behind impossible engineering fascinates you, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive. The final weeks of the European War were a frenzy of desperation and destruction. As the massive steel fist of the Red Army smashed through the Eastern Front, the ultimate paradox of the Reich Die Glocke vanished. It was not disassembled, but evaporated. SS units, under Kammler's chillingly efficient command, attempted a frantic, doomed transport, scattering parts and documents across a collapsing continent. The subterranean workshops of Ries were sealed with explosive precision, collapsing entrances and burying secrets under tons of Polish earth. Kammler himself, the architect of both unimaginable terror and impossible technology, walked into the ruins of 1945 and was never seen again, a ghost haunting the archives of history. What remained was a moral void and a whispering legend. Post-war investigators from Soviet NKVD to Allied intelligence officers found conflicting scraps of evidence. Polish miners forced to clear the Ruble spoke of a device that seemed to have been moved in haste. The occasional piece of specialized, non-standard equipment found suggested exotic experiments. Was the bell truly operational? Did it achieve its designer's apocalyptic goals? Or was it, as some military historians argue, merely a dazzling, complex, decoy strategic myth designed to consume Allied resources and terrorize the enemy? This remains the pivot point of the legend. Yet, the story of the bell refuses to die. Its alleged design elements the counter-rotating masses. The reliance on high-energy fields continued to fuel intense debate. Was it a primitive particle accelerator? Did its captured research secretly inform post-war aerospace or nuclear programs in the East and West? The sober analysis of historians stands in stark contrast to the dramatic narrative embraced by modern UFO and conspiracy theorists, who have elevated Die Glocke into an extraterrestrial artifact, linking the Reich's obsession with its impossible power. The true legacy is measured not just in engineering, but in the human cost, the lives lost in its noxious construction, the scientists corrupted by its pursuit, and the moral shadow it casts over the very act of innovation. The bell represents the absolute zenith of human capacity for both ingenuity and self-destruction. It is a technological wonder, yes, but primarily a potent cautionary tale. As we look at the mist-shrouded entrance to the sealed Wenceslas Mina cold, indifferent grave for secrets, we are left suspended between fascination and dread. What happens when ambition utterly outstrips morality? What price do we pay for forbidden knowledge? The questions are not buried in the wreckage. They haunt us still, daring us to find the line where genius crosses into madness. For more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries and technological marvels lost to time, subscribe and continue exploring the shadows of human ingenuity.